Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakal Kodash. I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone that rule well. And I want to give peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. To you all, I say Shalom. This is Brother Mayaka Allah from the GMS West Palm Beach Camp. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the flock of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. And all throughout the scriptures, there's a sense or a sense of judgment, what the world calls poetic justice, man. And this is what this lesson is going to be about, poetic justice. And what is poetic justice? This is the definition of it. Poetic justice, what does it mean? It is an idiomatic expression meaning appropriate, ideal, or ironic punishment, right? All throughout the scriptures, you see punishments that are, labeled ironic. This example here, it says it was poetic justice that Jane won the race after Mary tried to get her banned from the race. Right. Another example of poetic justice, according to the scriptures, would be how, like in ancient Israel, it's like in ancient Egypt, in our captivity, Pharaoh put a decree out, and that's what the scripture says: "Woe to him that decree unrighteous decrees too." For Pharaoh put a decree out to kill and slay all the all the children born that are males of the nation of Israel, man. Right? He wanted us all dead as far as the men, because we were growing in number, and basically they were worried about if they went to war that Israel would join the enemy side or will basically take over, or there'll be a mutiny or things of that nature. All right, so he put an unrighteous decree to kill all the male-born children, right? But it's poetic justice that, in our Exodus, that the Lord, swallowed up all their males in the Red Sea, and also it was also poetic justice how, in that final plague, that death plague, how when the Lord sent the death angel throughout Egypt, how it slew all the firstborn children. All right, meaning that not only males but all the firstborn children. So, meaning that, just like as you did to us, the Lord's gonna do to you, man. All right, the Lord is really does have a sense of humor, but his justice and his judgment is fair, right? Let me jump over to the book of real quick. Book of Psalms, chapter 9. Psalms 9 and 16. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the works of his own hands. Hagan Salah, right? And that's poetic justice, man. The wicked set snares for us to fall into the trap, but ultimately the wicked, starting with Esau and Edom, the so-called white man, they're going to fall for their own traps and their devices that they used to help destroy us, man. Right? And when judgment happens to them, the Lord is known. That it's going to be known that the Lord did it, man. All right? Isn't it ironic? It's irony at the end of the day. But it's also it's judgment and justice, man. Poetic justice, man. It's a beautiful thing. When you read the scriptures, man, the scriptures do read like poetry, especially some books like Songs of Solomon. That's the most poetic book in the scriptures, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's still prophetic at the same time. So just because something is, written like a song or written as a psalm, it's still prophetic. That's the power of the scriptures. These words are living, man. Wisdom of Solomon 11 and 15. But for the foolish devices of their wickedness, wherewith being deceived, they worship serpents void of reason and vile beasts. Thou didst send a multitude of unreasonable beasts upon them for vengeance. Right. Isn't it ironic that, wicked Jake worshiping serpents and worshiping beasts, worshiping animals and worshiping the creation instead of the creator. And to judge them, what did the Lord do? He sent them unreasonable beasts, man, unruly beasts to destroy them, man, to judge them. Verse 16. And why did he do that? That they might know that wherewithal a man sinneth, by the same also shall he be punished. And that's literally poetic justice, man. All right. It's ironic that you're worshiping beast and you end up being mauled by a beast, man. All right. Let me all jump over back to the Old Testament, the book of Genesis, chapter 27. And this is the one of the final forms of poetic justice that's about to take place on the planet Earth, man. It's really going to be fulfilled, right before or right when Yahweh try cracks some clouds and returns, man. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and 35. And he said, thy brother came. Wait, I'll start at verse 34. At Genesis 27 and 34, when Esau being the progenitor or the father of the modern day so-called white man, right? Now, just because somebody is white doesn't mean they're an Edomite, but through the spirit, you have to try the spirit. So you can't judge a person solely based on their skin color. That's off. But the skin color would be an indicator for most so-called white people, man. But a lot of so-called white people, a lot of so-called white people are Israelites, man. And then they may be other nations that look like so-called white people too, man. Just because somebody is white doesn't mean they're an Edomite. This is why it takes spiritual discernment to be a judge, man. You're judging unrighteously if you just look at somebody and say what they are, man. Without even trying them, man. You gotta prove all things. Genesis 27:34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. He cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry. I mean, he bawled. He boo-hooed like a bitch, man. He cried. He an exceeding cry, man. This was a grown man crying like this, man. Just goes to show you the nature of Esau and how he acts when he doesn't get his way. This is why the scripture talks about in Revelation 12 and 12 how the devil's going to come down with great wrath, knowing that he has but a short time, man. This is why Jacob's trouble is really going to be the Lord unsheathing his sword against Jacob, man, and using Esau Edom. But there's going to be a lot of Jakes too that's going to be running wild at Jacob's trouble too, and causing trouble, man, and being straight demons upon Esau themselves. But for the most part, Esau Edom is going to be the one raising hell against Jake. This is why it's known as Jacob's trouble. All right, verse 35. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, is he not rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? All right. Now, so-called white people, Edomites, and a lot of wacky-tacky Christians, man, they'll tell you that Jacob stole the birthright. But Jacob didn't steal the birthright. This was ordained to happen through prophecy, man. This was supposed to happen through the spirit, man. But again, you gotta have spiritual discernment to understand the scriptures at the end of the day. Verse 37. And that's people who look at people on the outward appearance and automatically make a judgment and assumptions, man. Those people like that don't have any spiritual discernment, so they get lost in the scriptures. All right, this is why if you don't have spiritual discernment, if you're stumbling at the stumbling block where all so-called white people are Edomites, you gotta pray. You gotta pray for wisdom and just spiritual discernment, man. The Lord will give you wisdom liberally if you ask Him, man. All right, but you gotta be sincere when you ask, man. You can't ask amiss. Verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Man, he was bawling, man. He was seriously crying, man. He was Slakia. He was seriously crying, man. Crying like a bitch, man. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. Right? And this is why you see Esau Edom owning everything, man. Living in the best places, eating the best foods, experiencing the so-called best life at the moment, man. All right? At the moment. Because this blessing is going to be taken from him, man. This blessing, the sword blessing, right, is going to be taken from him. And it's going to be taken from him violently, too, man. He thought he was crying before. But wait till you see Esau in captivity, man. Because the so-called white man is going into slavery, man. And that's thus save the Lord. Genesis 27 and 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Right? So, another blessing that Isaac gave his son Esau was the blessing of the sword, man. And what did Yahushua say, man, about the sword, man? And this is why it's poetic justice for Esau Edom, because he was blessed with the sword, and look how he misused it, man. Look, he's killing everything, man. He's killing everything, and this is why Babylon has to be destroyed, and Esau Edom has to go into captivity, man. All right, let me go to Matthew 26 and 52. Then said Yahushua unto him, Put up thy sword into its place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Right. So Esau Edom took the sword, which was the blessing from Isaac, but now he took the sword. He's gonna perish with the sword. The same nuclear missiles he used to put the world in order, man, to put all these countries in check. Right. The same army that he used to put the same policies that he used to put these people in check, man. Right. To rule over the people mischievously, man. To rule over them with lies and hypocrisy. The sword they use to destroy everything that they touch, man, is going to end up destroying them, man. Because anybody that takes the sword is going to perish with the sword, man. Like the saying in the world, which really comes from this precept right here. The saying in the world comes from the scriptures. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. And Esau Edom lives by the sword, man. Right? If you take away the sword from Esau Edom, you can't take away the sword from Esau Edom without a fight, man. You can't take his blessing away from him. Only the Lord could take away his blessing, man. And this is why Esau, the so-called white people, they get so bent out of shape when so-called politicians make empty threats saying, "Oh, we need to ban guns, we need to take away the guns," and things of that nature. They know damn well they'll never be able to take away the gun out of the so-called white man's hands, man. Banning guns and things of that nature, the only people who that's going to be enforced to is Jake, man, for the most part. Right? If they ever enact a decree that says we're banning certain type of guns, or we're banning certain types of ammunition, or you need certain types of licenses to own guns, that's really for Jake, man, because you're not taking away Esau Edom's blessing unless the Lord decides it's time to take it away, man. But best believe it's gonna be taken away, and that's the poetic justice of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. But I'm going to wrap it up with that. Lord, when this lesson was edifying, again, I'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakodash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of great millstone that rule well. And I want to give peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. Until next time, I want to say Shalom and Abad Babal.